2021 meeting of Greenwood Board of Public Works and Safety to order. Amanda, roll call, please.
Mr. Rutherford?
Here.
Mr. Hoover?
Here.
Mr. Kaufman?
Here.
Thank you.
The minutes of our last regular meeting of April 5, 2021 have been distributed to members of the board. Is there any corrections, additions, or deletions from staff? Hearing none, is there a motion for approval as presented?
So moved. Second.
Thank you, Mr. Colvin. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. First on our agenda tonight is Harpreet Singh, 114 Traditions Past, has a fence encroachment request. Are you with us?
Yes.
Great, okay. Tell us what you'd like to do.
So what we would like to do is around the manhole, we were trying to at least maybe 2 feet of space, if that's possible, or whatever the least we can do.
Okay.
Just around the fence, I guess.
The manholes.
Yeah, the manhole.
Mr. Singh, did you receive a memo from Jeff Weaver dated April 16th?
Jeff,
Thank you. Oh yeah, that's the one recently we sorry.
is that the one?
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
Okay. That lists several conditions that are recommended by our engineering division. Did you have any problems with any of those conditions?
That was the only concern because I guess it read 5 feet. So, and we were thinking it could be less than 5 feet, if it's possible.
Okay. Daniel, are you online here? I see you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could you help us out there with that condition? I think that's particularly condition number 2 that Mr. Singh's talking about.
Right. So, Mr. Singh, the stormwater department requires the 5 feet. Generally, that is the amount of room, just so if they ever had to get in there to maintain that, they wouldn't have to take down the fence. Since this is in an easement area, they would be able to take down the fence if necessary, if it was somehow blocking them from performing their work or their maintenance. And so that's why the city goes with the 5 foot dimension.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was just thinking 5 feet from all 3 sides, that's 15 feet. That's a lot of space we're giving away. But I guess if that's the rules, I guess, yeah, go with it then. We'll give 5 feet.
Okay. Questions for Mr. Singh, members of the board?
He has one line that runs north and south, and he's crossing it 2 places, so the 5 foot doesn't apply there.
That's correct. The 5 foot won't apply there, but the second part of that sentence, condition number 2, if allowed to cross, no post shall be within 4 feet of the line. So on the northern crossing, the posts couldn't be any closer than 4 feet.
Which one?
Which ones are we actually talking about?
Well, both of them. The first one with the manhole there, and then the second one on your northern property line, I believe it's underground as well. And so the concern there would be if there's any fence posts or any posts from your fence that are within 4 feet of the line. So I don't know what the spacing is for your fence, if it's 8 feet. So ideally it would be centered above the pipe so that the posts would not be above the stormwater pipe, potentially risking a potential damage to the pipe.
I mean, we cannot do it. We were not aware of that.
So you're saying we have to remove that fence?
Well, the fence could still be there. The concern is just if there were, say, a post directly over the stormwater pipe location. We wouldn't want that post to go down into the pipe, puncture it, or anything like that. So the rule that we use is to keep those posts 4 feet away from on either side of the pipe. You might with the cursor. Let's see. So that's the manhole there that the cursor is on, and then if the cursor goes to the northern crossing, or go a little further.
Southern.
Right, I guess if that's Molly or IT, if you could go further north, keep going to that crossing there on the north property line. Just making sure that any posts at that crossing are not any closer than 4 feet to the stormwater pipe. It's okay for your fence to be there. We just want to make sure that any posts are not too close to the stormwater pipe.
Yeah, because we're sharing that fence with our neighbors. So,
Okay.
because this side, I mean, because our neighbors don't have a fence, that's what we were like, we'll give 5 feet from each side, whatever, you know what I mean? That doesn't, I mean, we're losing a lot of space, but it's still, we have to do whatever we have to do. But the other side, we're sharing that with our neighbors. I don't know how that's gonna work out. I mean, if down the line, if I mean, you guys wanna do some type of work, I mean, we could remove it, but that's gonna be too much. We have to, yeah, our neighbors gotta get involved in that situation right there.
Is that fence line on your northern property line with your neighbors? Is that already an existing fence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you happen?
Because our concern was because the contractor, I don't know what he did, what he did not do. I'm pretty sure he got the permission from you guys to put the fence in the first place.
Yeah.
So I even asked the contractor, I'm like, he actually made he cut out just the fence over the manhole. He cut it out and everything. I thought it was fine. Maybe you guys bring the pipes out, whatever you guys want to do with the manhole, it'll be okay. But in our mind, we didn't think that you guys gotta remove the whole panel and give you guys like 5 feet for what? That I didn't understand. But now you're saying if that's the rule, we'll go by it. But we didn't know because we thought contractor did everything by the rule book. So
But the other side.
yeah, the other side, we'll do this.
Yeah,
we'll give you guys 15 feet from this side. But the other side, I don't know. That's gonna be a little difficult because we're sharing the fence with the neighbors. I don't know yeah.
Then on your northern property line, if that one is already an existing fence, and I think that parcel may have come into the board of Mr. Hoover, I think the board did grant them a easement or an encroachment request at one of the recent meetings. I know there's been 2 or 3 properties here right in this area that have come before you in the last couple of months to get approval. So that one has probably already been approved.
Okay.
So at the manhole structure, it doesn't have to be 15 feet, but it would just be, say, 5 feet. 5 feet on the west side, the east side of the manhole, then 5 feet on the north side. So
you mean 5 feet from each side, right?
Yeah, that's what I
Yes.
meant. That's
Yes.
what I meant. Total 15 feet. Oh, no, that's not total 15 feet.
Yeah, 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, 5 feet from each side of the manhole. That's a good way to look at it.
All right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we'll do that.
We agree. with
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
So, motion the board would like to make on this.
I'll move for approval with the conditions that are listed on the memo.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Rutherford and Mr. Coleman. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Singh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to move to Sam and Brenna Daggy.
Yes, that's correct.
Good evening. Tell us what you'd like to do.
Yeah, so we're just looking to build a fence. We have 2 easements that run through our property. We have basically on the north side of our lot. We have that 50-foot drainage and utility easement that we're looking to build over, and then we're not going to build over the drainage easement that looks to the back of the property at 20 feet. Yeah, so in a nutshell.
Sam, I'll ask you as well. Did you receive a memo from Jeff Weaver regarding some conditions that the Community Development Services sent out?
Yep, and we were okay with all of the I guess stipulations that were on there. So
Okay, 4 conditions. Any questions for Sam or Brenna?
I would move that we approve their request subject to the conditions in the report.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Colvin. Mr. Rutherford. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Have a good evening.
Thanks, you guys too.
I think we're looking for Mr. Petty. Tom? There you are. Good evening.
I'm just here tonight to request approval to trade in our 2013 Global M4 mechanical street sweeper. Stormwater Board approved the purchase of a new street sweeper that at their last board meeting that actually will replace this one. This one was owned by the street department, and so request is to permission to trade in 2013 Global M4 street sweeper VIN number ending 4620051 with a trade-in value of $10,000 towards the new mechanical street sweeper.
Any further questions for Todd?
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd. Mr. Duncan?
Yeah, I come before the board tonight for a couple things. The first one is my paint bids for this year. Enos Flint didn't bid due to raw material shortage in Texas. So Sherwin-Williams for 1,700 gallons of white water-based paint, they were at $9.59 a gallon for $16,303, and 1,300 gallons of yellow water-based paint at $12,467 for a total price of $28,770. And Mike Green is the only other company that bid. And for his 17,000 gallons of white, he was $13.41 a gallon, which came to $22,797. 1,300 gallons of yellow was $14.16 a gallon for $18,408 for a total price for him for $41,205. And I would like to get permission to purchase it off Sherwin-Williams under the condition that our legal and Sherwin-Williams legal department can get together on agreement of the terms and conditions to have a contract. I think I stated that right.
Other questions for Kenny? Now, I will move that we find that the Sherwin-Williams is the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for the white and yellow paint, and that to proceed with legal staff to prepare a contract for this.
Second.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Now let's do some beads.
Yeah, the last thing was beads, and Enos Flint didn't have a bid on that again. Sherwin-Williams had no bid. Mike Green for 24,000 pounds at 47 cents a pound comes in at $11,280. Swarco for 24,000 pounds come in at 0.435 a pound for a cost of $10,440. And I'd like to award that to Swarco and get legal to put together a contract on that as well.
Questions for Kenny?
I'll move for approval.
Swarco?
Swarco.
Second.
Moved and second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kenny. Have a good evening.
You too.
Molly, are you with us? There you are.
I am here. Good evening. The Greenwood Village would like to host their 8th annual fireworks and 4th of July celebration. They'll be holding that on a Thursday evening, July 1st, from 6 to 10:30. And I'm here tonight to request a noise waiver for that celebration.
As you may recall, I am on the board of Greenwood Village, so I'll kind of recuse myself, even though I don't have a financial interest in this. I'll leave it to you two.
I don't have a problem with it. I will move that we approve the request for the noise waiver for Greenwood Village on July, I guess it's July 4th. Is that when they're having it? First.
They're having it on the 1st.
Okay, July 1st, yes.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Hoggett,
Good evening.
good evening.
I come before you tonight to ask for the approval of a hold harmless agreement between Felson and Jane Bowman and the fire department. They have a house that they would like to get rid of and have generously donated it to the fire department for training. And then at the conclusion of our training, we will burn it down and they will take it over from there. The hold harmless is so we can train in that various different functions from now until roughly June 4th, 2021.
Well, we've been provided indemnity and hold harmless agreement. Any questions for the chief? Chief, do you have your microphone covered up? We're having a difficult time hearing you.
I do not.
That's
Is that
better.
That's
Yeah.
better. It may have gotten caught in my shirt.
Pleasure of the board.
I move for approval.
Second.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, chief. Have a good evening. Next, I understand we have Mr. Heck with us.
Yes, good evening, board.
Hi, Joe. What are we doing tonight?
Yeah, well, I'm here representing ETB Precedent Companies, looking for the acceptance and execution of the plat for Block 2 at President South Business Center. They're looking to split that 3.74 acre lot into 2 lots. They've got the north lot. I think Burger King's going to go in there, so they got to split this block into 2 lots so they can sell the lot off. So that's what we're here for tonight. It's the President South over off Main Street and Graham. It'd be at the southwest corner there next to the new speedway that's going to be going in.
Questions or issues for Joe? Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And then block 3, section 1.
Yes, this one I'm here for Sedgwick Properties. He's actually got a lot already developed in section 1, but he's going to build a second building on lot 3C. So we're here to get the approval of his performance bonds, his inspection testing agreement, and the encroachment request for his new building. He'll be building on the 2.12 acre tract on lot 3C at President South.
So am I reading Paul Peony's memo correct that at least the first part of this is just performance guarantee issues?
I haven't seen the report. I thought we've gone back and forth with these bonds, and I thought they had the corrected bonds submitted to Paul. I don't know if he's got the originals yet. That might be the question. He might not have the originals yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we can get the I think he probably needs the originals.
Probably want to take this in 2 separate motions.
Yeah, do the encroachment request separately. Is there a motion with respect to the performance guarantees?
I'll move for approval of performance guarantees.
Second.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And that would include the inspection and testing agreement, correct?
Yes.
And we ratify the acceptance of the 50% upfront fee?
Yes.
Okay. Now that we've got an encroachment request, Joe?
Yes, just on the north and west sides of the property, there's required landscaping for buffer green space, and there's already platted easements on those areas that we got to landscape, so we're requesting encroachment into those utility easements. I think there's platted green belts on them, at least I know on the west one, but it overlaps the utility easement, so we still have to get the encroachment request approved.
Okay.
It wouldn't be for any parking or anything. On the north, there's no drives or parking in that. But on the west, there's just the drives out to Commerce Parkway that would be encroached over. But I think we just request the landscaping on those usually.
Joe, have you seen Jeff Weaver's memo to us dated April 16th?
No, I didn't get a copy of those, no.
There's 4 conditions.
But go ahead.
Encroachment agreement prepared by our legal department, executed by the owner of the parcel, be recorded by the owner. Landscaping and asphalt parking lots shall not disrupt the flow of the stormwater. And if there's any work that needs to be done in the easement by the utilities or city, the owner is responsible for removal and replacement of that landscaping and asphalt parking at the owner's expense. And then that Indiana 811 is notified prior to any construction so that the buried utilities can be located. Those are our standard ones. Any problem with any of those, Joe?
No problems with those.
Well, I'll move that we approve the encroachment request subject to those 4 conditions that I just noted. Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thanks, Joe. Have a good evening.
Thank you, board. Have a good day. Yep, bye.
On the agenda, we have Kevin Rhodes from Baumgartner and Company Asphalt Services for Lone Pine Farms.
Good evening, board. Thanks for putting this on the agenda this evening. We're requesting to close Smoky Row Road for some construction there at Redwood. The number one reason for the closure is, of course, safety, not only for our workers, but for the traveling public. And number 2 is the quality of workmanship. The existing road measures between 18 and 19 and a half foot currently, with a striping layout of 9-foot travel lanes for 18-foot wide travel. The westbound lane currently doesn't have any shoulder per se. It drops off immediately into a 2 to 3 foot ditch east of the house that's located there at 1538. And onto the west of that house, it drops off into a 4 to 5 foot ditch there at a culvert that exists. We will be raising that road by 9 inches, so that'd be exacerbating that drop off. Additionally, when you think about the width of a tip of the mirrors between a pickup truck, they range about 8 feet wide. So when you're trying to pave a 9-foot wide or 10-foot wide lane, that doesn't leave much room for a worker and a vehicle to share that same lane. With regards to the workmanship, obtaining a smooth road, it's common practice to pave the main line or the roadway first, and then the approaches and turn lanes. So the widening on the eastbound lane gets widened, and that would need to be done paved with the main line in an effort not to create an additional joint in the pavement and have to pave any 8-foot lanes. So the proposed detour route, which you've got on your screen, would go up South Honey Creek Road to which is looks like relatively new pavement with good shoulders on it, to West Stone Crossing Road and over to Indiana 35, all of which could safely handle the additional traffic. So if we'd be allowed to close that road for 3.5 days, I'd say I could probably get it done in 2 days, 2.5 days, maybe 3, but just on the safe side, I'd say from the 27th through the 30th is what we're proposing at this point in time. We'd be able to get a safer job and a better completed finished product. So I'd like to thank you for your consideration.
Questions for Keith? Kevin? Questions for Mr. Rhodes? Daniel, you want to weigh in on this?
Yes, thank you. So, I guess a couple items for the board's consideration, as well as Baumgartner's request. We looked at their proposed detour route, and I was actually going to recommend changing the route rather than going northward towards Stones Crossing. Actually, change that to go southward towards Whiteland Road. I would suggest that just because of the offset intersection at Stones Crossing and Honey Creek, definitely during the afternoon peak hours, the rush hour, that can be a little challenging. And so adding more traffic to it as a detour route might make things a little more challenging. So I was going to offer that kind of alternate suggestion for the route. I guess one requirement, definitely since this is going to be a closure, or would be a closure if the board approves it, the Baumgartner would have to notify all the entities that are on the city's notification list. That's going to be like Johnson County Dispatch, Post Office, the school, all the the nearby school districts, that type of thing. And then I know in your information here, you mentioned that striping would immediately follow and once the paving was done. I guess we were going to request that if there's ever a time where, say, the work is completed, the paving is complete, but the striping crew wasn't going to be there till the next day or something, even if it's left overnight, we would like to have some, or we would need to have some temporary striping down on the pavement, just to keep everybody safe, even especially at nighttime, until that permanent striping was actually put down. So those are kind of some other aspects. And I don't, off the top of my head, I couldn't think of a time necessarily that the board has approved, definitely, or approved a request like this. Definitely those that have come in recently in the last handful of years, they've been on more major roads. So, but for this case, I would think it would be reasonable if the board wanted to go in the direction to support their request with some of these other conditions that I've described.
Mr. Rhodes, what do you think about any of those comments that Mr. Johnston made?
Well, in fact, I was going to ask about temporary striping. Would you just want a center line stripe for that temporary striping, or what would you need, Daniel? An edge stripe or just center lines?
Definitely, kind of just some cat tracks. It doesn't have to be anything permanent, just to make it obvious to drivers at night. I think edge lines would be helpful as well, since we are going to be pulverizing and repaving over the existing material. So we want to make sure that drivers are aware of the edge of the pavement. So edge lines, yes, as well, please.
Well, of course, the pulverization wouldn't get any striping that's just striping on the existing, on the new asphalt.
Correct. Yes, just on the final surface pavement once, or whatever surface pavement would be used if the road were reopened to traffic early, or whatever the case may be.
Okay, certainly, and of course I'd have to have shoulders installed on that. On the north side of the westbound lane, it gets a 2-foot shoulder, I believe.
Correct.
So we can do that under traffic.
Pardon?
I said we could do that under traffic. That wouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
Further questions or comments? Well, I'll move that we grant the road closure request with the conditions of Baumgartner getting notifying all the appropriate entities that are on the city's required list, that the temporary striping be put in place as might be required, and that the detour route be modified consistent with what Mr. Johnston just described. And maybe the easiest way to do that would be to require that Baumgartner contact Mr. Johnston's office to confirm those conditions, including the specifics of the route detour.
I'll second that.
Daniel, is that okay with you?
Yes, yes, it is.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Kevin.
Hey, thank you very much. And Daniel will have someone will be in contact with you probably tomorrow on the route. Okay. Have a good evening, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you. You too. Is anyone else in the audience who would like to address the board this evening? Hearing none, let's go to consideration of the IDM compliance plan status update by Mr. Hodson.
We're current with all the reports, and we have no problems with our compliance right now.
Very good. Your status of tests.
I'd like to start with 2 walk-ons, please.
Okay.
The first is the legal department has 8 guest chairs that we don't believe have any value in, they would cost more to store, to sell than they would to dispose of, and we're requesting that permission to dispose of them.
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
The second is a request from Amanda Stevenson to have a prayer vigil at the Homecoming Park at 7 o'clock tonight. This is one where the mayor has approved waiving the fees, and we ask the board to approve that.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Oh, on my agenda list, the first up is the 2020 Title VI report. I believe that Shauna has sent it to you for review.
Acknowledge we all have that.
It is a little less voluminous than past years because of the pandemic.
Do we need to take any action other than just acknowledge receipt of that, Sam?
No, I think you need to approve it.
Okay. I'll move that we approve the 2020 Title VI annual report as presented to us.
Second.
Could be here all night, guys. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
My final order is tax number 2101. This involves a contract with Strand Associates. It's a contract not to exceed $200,000, and it's for work in the Meridian Meadows and Stonegate neighborhoods.
I think we've been presented with this information. Is there questions for Sam on it?
And this one, for your motion, please, this is for both the mayor and the board to sign.
I move for approval.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Sam. Daniel.
I have 3 items for you. The first is for Culvers. They are looking to install a second drive-through lane so they could have dual drive-through or dual order taking. And so our, excuse me, since this is private development or private improvements, motion is to accept the performance guarantee for erosion control, street and sidewalk improvements, as well as accepting and executing general inspection and testing agreement, ratifying their 50% up and ratifying their 50% upfront fee. There's one condition, and that is the receipt of the original performance guarantee and then reviewing and approval by legal and engineering.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
My second item is the PATEL subdivision. This is on State Road 135. They are, excuse me, our motion tonight, or what they are seeking, is acceptance of performance guarantees for sidewalks and perimeter monuments, as well to accept and execute general inspection testing agreement and to ratify their 50% upfront fee. The two conditions in the memo, we're still waiting to receive the original performance guarantees for those to be reviewed and approved by legal and engineering, but we did receive the final plat document, so I will bring that down, but it will still need to be reviewed and approved.
Daniel, remind me where that's at.
It's slightly south of county line. It's on the east side of the road. I'm blanking on which restaurants are there or which ones are nearby, which buildings, so I apologize on that.
So this is by, there's, what is it? Highland Grill in there, or is it farther north than that? There's Kentucky Fried Chicken right on the corner.
I think it's south of that.
Rise and Roll is south of that. Well, in any event, is there a pleasure of the board?
I move for approval.
Give that to Mr. Colvin, second by Mr. Colvin. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And then my last item, it's a single parcel sewer service agreement, just requesting, this is over in White River Township off of Peterman Road, and just requesting the board to authorize staff to prepare a single parcel sewer service agreement to authorize the mayor to sign on the board's behalf.
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, appreciate it. Mr. Wright, are you with us? Is Mr.
I'm here. I have nothing for this evening.
Okay, thank you. And you're looks like it's your turn, Mr. Rutherford.
I'll move for approval of the claims as submitted.
Second.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Well, thank you all. We'll stand adjourned at 6:16 p.m.
Good to be back.
Good to be back.